Chris Rudolph from NewNowNext. Hi, everyone. So I loved the series. I thought it was really fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
So, Patti, I was pleasantly surprised when I started watching that you were one of the leads. You weren't just a guest appearance or something. How did Ryan talk you into doing this series?
He didn't have to talk me into it.
You just told her I was doing it.
And there would be sex scenes. I think something shifted, actually. I was not in it as much as I ended up being in it. And at some point, he shifted focus or wanted me to represent something more in this story. It's exactly the character that he pitched to me, a wife of an executive that inherits the studio and becomes, makes movies for gays, minorities, and women. But it didn't. I actually thought that I was a supporting player. I'm still a supporting player, just to have a little more to do, a little more support to do, and I'm thrilled.
You mentioned the sex scenes, and David, I read that one of your dreams was to work with Patti. So how did you feel when you found out that you'd be having some of those intimate scenes with her?
I was.
Did you say that?
Well, I mean, you are somewhat of a legend, Patti, especially in the halls of Juilliard. So I was very excited to find that out. And then as far as the sex scenes go, I was a little nervous just because you never know. And Patti and I have talked about this. Our first day was a scene where we get down. But luckily Patti is not only a wonderful person and a very, very outgoing, there's no warming up. You show up and you're friends and you're there, which is very helpful when you have to immediately go into some intimate stuff. But honestly, that was as exciting as it was, that was the least interesting part of the relationship. What was so great was, as Ryan decided that he really liked the feeling of the sense of romance and of dreams, in the characters, Patti and I got to play out this great little personal relationship where our characters, sure have sex, but more importantly, connect with each other and fulfill each other's, personal needs, and open up doors for each other. So that's really the fun part with a great actress like Patti.
Thanks, Taylor. That's pretty sweet of you to say. Thank you.
Dylan,
back at you.
Dylan, your character was inspired by the Hollywood male madam Scotty Bowers, right? How much did you know about Scotty Bowers before you took on the role?
I would say that he's loosely based. There's certainly aspects of Scotty in there. I did watch the documentary on him. I didn't know much about him, but the documentary is absolutely fascinating. He was a hoarder, and so his house was a mess, which is just the opposite of mine. I walk around with a Q-tip cleaning things, and he just left everything everywhere, and just for years and years and years. So that aspect of the character I didn't really put into Ernie, but he was fascinating guy, and he lived for a very long time, and he was someone who made the best of everything, just like Ernie.
And David, your character, is fictional. Who was your inspiration? Who'd you look to?
Well, I was hoping that he was going to turn out to be, a Marlon Brando or a Montgomery Clift or a James Dean, somebody who's really cool and just commands respect, and I think he ended up being a little more wide-eyed and earnest, and never really figured out what the hell was going on, which was a ton of fun as well. So in the end, I think he's much more like the characters that Jimmy Stewart played. I brought in a lot of Singing in the Rain is one of my favorite movies from that era. So it was sort of a combination of Don Lockwood and Cosmo Brown from Singing in the Rain, because the tone of the show felt more like a musical than some really brooding actor who takes himself very seriously.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When I would list off the actors who are in this, people would be like, "Is it a musical?" So like, Patti, why didn't you do a musical? Why didn't you do a musical episode, Patti?
We're talking about it.
Why didn't I do musical episodes?
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, and I say that because everybody wants me to sing, and sometimes it just doesn't fit the character. Do you know what I mean? I think Ava's singing around the house after she got boinked by somebody is one thing, but to break into song, we said she was an actress, but we didn't say she was an actress in musicals. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I love the series, and you're all fantastic. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Bye.